Private First Class Jacob Rains had always heard wild stories about alien medbay machines that stitched your guts together with lasers, painkillers delivered via scent, and medical staff that looked more like artists than surgeons. But nothing had prepared him for the Valari. He blinked against the sterile blue lights above him, his body aching and partially strapped to the diagnostic cradle. The war on Varnic 4 had been messy, and Jacob had earned every one of his bruises the hard way, hand to hand, blaster to blaster, fang to face. A tall, slender figure entered the room, gliding silently. Not walking, gliding. She wore a silver and cobalt med robe, and her features shimmered with a bioluminescent softness that screamed non-human yet eerily graceful. Her skin was smooth, lavender gray with shifting opalescence like oil on water. 4 fingers per hand, 2 eyelids per eye, and no mouth. Jacob tensed slightly. "You the doc?" A chime echoed inside his head, not from her lips' telepathy. "I am Valari Tessa, healing cast. You are injured." Jacob coughed, trying to sit up. "Define?" "Injured. I've still got all my limbs, but my ribs hate me." Sa moved closer, her presence somehow calming. She raised a scanning device that hovered above his chest, casting a grid of green light. Then wordlessly, she extended one delicate hand and placed it lightly on his side. Jacob flinched. Valari's touch wasn't cold. In fact, it was warm in a way no sterile medbot had ever been. Her fingers moved with practiced care along his ribs, pausing when he winced. Fractures in 3rd and 5th rib, mild internal bleeding. Surface? Abrasions. The voice echoed inside his mind again, clinical, calm. She continued to scan, trailing down his side and stomach, fingertips moving with inhuman grace until she reached his lower abdomen. That's when things got awkward. Her hand paused. Jacob's. Muscles tensed. She looked puzzled. Her translucent eyelids blinked in a slow pattern. Then she touched again gently, scientifically, just too close to the border between injury and zone. Jacob tried to will his body to behave. He really did. But his human physiology evolved from hormonal chaos, and bad timing chose this. Moment to betray him. It twitched down south, and not in a combat injury way. So froze. There was silence. Not just silence, telepathic silence, which felt worse. Her head tilted, eyes narrowing in what could only be described as clinical curiosity. Then, horrifyingly, she leaned slightly forward and scanned again. Jacob groaned. "UH. That's not an injury, just a reaction. Your vascular pressure increased by 17%. Heat signature elevated. There is no visible trauma. Is this involuntary?" Jacob felt like crawling under the med cradle and vanishing into a black hole. Completely involuntary, I swear. Sa stepped back slightly, clearly processing. Her fingers hovered near her scanning pad. "Your body. Misinterpreted physical contact?" "Oh no, my body interpreted exactly right, just not in a medical way." The Valari stood motionless for a full 5 seconds. Then, abruptly, she let out a mental sigh. Human biological systems are unnecessarily reactive. Jacob laughed nervously. "Yeah, tell me about it. It's like a trait we evolved just to embarrass ourselves." She walked over to a side console, pressed a few symbols, then returned with a medical patch. With absolutely no hesitation this time, she slapped it on his side. A warm sensation pulsed through his ribs as pain faded instantly. Muscle relaxing. It should also suppress inappropriate blood flow. Jacob blinked. "Wait, you just gave me alien anti-boner medicine?" "Yes, for the sake of medical efficiency." The door opened suddenly and another Valari nurse entered, saw the 2 of them, then paused. Sa sent a calm message toward her colleague. Human male reacts strongly to abdominal contact. Avoid repeat examination. The second nurse gave what could only be described as a telepathic smirk. Noted. Jacob groaned again, covering his face. I'm gonna be a legend in your break room, aren't I? Sut didn't answer. But the faint mental signal she emitted felt like suppressed laughter. As Jacob was escorted out of the medbay, his ribs fully healed and his pride slightly bruised, he couldn't help but grin despite himself. Humanity had fought, bled, and earned their place in the galactic accord. But no amount of training prepared the galaxy for just how awkwardly human they could be. Epilogue, classified medical report. Patient, Rains. Jacob, species, human, male. When examining human abdominal injuries, maintain minimum contact with lower pelvic region unless medically necessary. Side effects may include vascular arousal, involuntary muscle stiffening, and heightened embarrassment levels. Cultural annotation. Humans possess a curious blend of combat resilience and hormonal instability. Proceed accordingly.